This week we take a look at the Defocus and DZoom and show you how to create the popular Hitchcock zoom effect on a DSLR. DVTV starts right now.
This episode is made possible in part by Cinemover, the versatile motion system for small cameras. Rode microphones. JAG 35, affordable solutions for filmmakers. Lightcraft Workshop, the perfect tools to create the perfect image. Manhattan LCD, the affordable solution for high-definition monitoring.
Hey guys, welcome to another brand new episode of DVTV, bringing you the next wave of digital video. I'm your host, Tony Reale, and this week we're going to be taking a look at the Defocus and DZoom. Now I'm really excited to show you guys these because the Defocus happens to be probably the most cost-effective follow focus out there. But don't let that fool you. Now when I first came across the Defocus, I was a little skeptical. I thought, for this price point, how can you get anything better than a toy, really? But honestly, after playing with it just a little while, I discovered that this is a really great tool for filmmakers. One thing that follow focuses sometimes have is something we call play, where the gear is not quite super tight, and so the focus knob might have a couple millimeters of give before it actually starts pulling the gear on your lens. Now the Defocus has zero play, which is really impressive, especially for a follow focus in this price range. Now the design of the Defocus is simple in allowing you to both tighten and adjust the distance from the gear to your lens. This is great depending on the size of lens that you have. You can easily move it closer and farther away from the lens. Now the one issue that I have with the Defocus is it's a very shallow design. It's designed to work with camera lenses that are very close to the rods. You don't have a lot of height to work with. So if you're working with a smaller lens, you may not be able to use some of those zip gears that we talked about in a previous episode. You're going to want to use a larger lens gear. Still will work just fine, but you're going to need to have a larger lens gear. Fortunately, you can get those lens gears with the Defocus, and one of the neat features of them is they're easily adjustable to any lens size. They come with these little insert screws that you select the right size for your camera lens. You pop them in, you attach it to your lens, and you're ready to go. Now the nice thing too is if you have a different lens later on, or if you're not quite sure what lens size that you need, you can easily swap those out and you can change it for another lens later. Fortunately, the Defocus has plenty of other features that you're going to be looking for in a follow focus. It has a marking disc for using for your in and out points, and it has a common accessory port to use a focus crank or focus whip. Next up, we've got the DZoom. Now, if you've ever tried to do a manual zoom while shooting video on a DSLR, you'll know how difficult that can be. Thankfully, the DZoom fits this need by allowing you to do a manual zoom using the same focus gears that you might use with a follow focus system. What you do is you attach those to your zoom lens on your DSLR and then attach the DZoom to it, and you can easily use the knob to do a quick, smooth linear zoom. You can do it at different speeds, and it is a breeze compared to trying to do it by hand. Now the one trick is trying to do it in motion. This can add a little difficulty, and this is where having a servo zoom on your camera is still going to beat this out. And we show you how we accomplish this later in the episode. But honestly, this is still going to be the smoothest zoom that you're going to get on your DSLR. Well, there you have it. Both the Defocus and the DZoom are great tools to have in your kit. Plus, they're very cost effective for small-time filmmakers. Now, there are going to be times where you're going to need the pro features that come in a higher-end follow focus, but honestly, if you're on a budget and you need a great follow focus, these are great tools to take a look at.
This episode is made possible in part by CheesyCam.com, the latest gear reviews and DIY video and photo projects. CPM Camera Rigs, your lightweight solution for caging the beast. Rig Wheels, camera wheels for creativity. Small HD, the world's smallest high-definition monitors.
Hey guys, welcome back. All right, so we've shown you the Defocus and the DZoom in our review. We're going to actually show it in a practical application here, where we're going to be doing a special camera move known as the Hitchcock zoom or the vertigo zoom. Now this is kind of an odd, weird camera zoom effect that you would use for creating kind of an uncomfortable, disconcerting effect. So here with me is Michael Fisher.
How you doing?
Good, how you doing, man?
Good.
Michael's an experienced camera operator, director of photography, and he's going to be joining us today to do this operation since it requires a little bit of maneuvering to handle. So with our setup here, we've obviously got the Defocus, we got the DZoom, and we're here using our K-Pod and K-Flex tripod and dolly setup from Kessler Crane. And this is going to allow us to kind of get into this small location in my basement and cram all this in there. Now, Michael, you're going to be operating the camera and pulling the zoom as I pull focus.
Right.
Now, traditionally, you might want to have a larger crew for an effect like this.
Yeah, and with larger, film cameras, it takes, 4 or 5 people to achieve this effect. With this, it only takes 2 people.
And so we've been actually practicing with it and trying to get the hang of it. In the end, the results been pretty good, but it does take some getting used to. Honestly, it could be a little bit smoother. We're still getting a little jerkiness. Frankly, that's partly because of the fact that we're still kind of new with this piece of equipment, but mainly because of the fact that this camera isn't really designed for what we're doing. But the nice thing is we can accomplish it.
We can.
And so now that we've played around with it, we've practiced with it, we're going to go and show you guys what our results have been. All right, so now we're set up. We've got our K-Pod all set up, ready to move. We've set our focus marks earlier, and we use just gaff tape to set that in and out point. What I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be focusing purely on pulling the focus, whereas Michael is going to be operating the K-Pod and doing the zoom. Now again, as we talked about earlier, it may be a little easier if you have more people doing this operation, but after about 10 to 15 takes, we decided that this is the most efficient way of doing this effect. So let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, let's go to A. Stand by. And we have speed and action.
So there you go, there's one example of it. Now let's go ahead and show you the reverse of that same shot and how you can use that same effect in reverse to create a totally different feel.
Okay, stand by. We have speed and action.
All right, so there you go. There's 2 examples of the Vertigo or Hitchcock zoom. Now again, this isn't something that you would necessarily want to use all the time.
No, especially if, in a shorter project, you definitely don't want to use it, a bunch of times. Like you said, it can get monotonous and boring.
Right, it's supposed to be a special, unique effect. Like Lord of the Rings, I saw this used once for the entire trilogy, but it was used at an effective moment. Now, again, as we discussed earlier, using film and E&G cameras, this might be, you might have a totally different setup. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, with an E&G camera, it may take 3 or 4 people to do this move because of so much that's going on. But with this one, like I said earlier, the beauty of it, it only takes 2 people, and the mechanisms that are used, it's small and compact, but everything is right there.
Yeah, and like for larger cameras, you might see motors, you might see servos, you might see a lot more attachments, which can bring the cost for the production
in the thousands.
In the thousands, right? Versus here we have a couple $100s worth of camera equipment. Now, before we end, I do want to talk about actually what is being accomplished with this zoom effect. We've been talking about the gear, but honestly, the Hitchcock zoom creates a weird effect, and this is because of the compression change.
Right, and what it's doing is literally pulling the subject into the camera or into your living room while it's pulling or pushing the background away, or vice versa.
And what's happening is you're also, the really important factor with the Hitchcock zoom is that you maintain the same composition, that your subject is relatively the same size in the frame the entire time, and it's the background that's really changing that perspective. Because telephoto has a very compressed look versus wide angle has a very distant look. And so when keeping the same composition of your subject and changing the background, you create that disconcerting feeling. Well, Michael, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And I know that you can be joining us for future episodes. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you guys next time.
Want more Next Wave DV in your life? Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube to be notified when the next episode airs. Visit our website for daily posts on the latest digital video news. Like us on Facebook to join the Next Wave DV community. And follow us on Twitter for behind-the-scenes news and pictures.